Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host, our very good friend, is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to all listeners out there. Welcome to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. We are covering Love Island Season 9, UK, Episode 5. Now, Chris, I predicted a bit of a riot, a bit of a drama-filled episode for Episode 5. I think we'll put that in the bin, but where would you like to start today?
I thought that was a band reference there, Dave. One of our old classics, I Predicted a Riot, which I fucking hate because we sing it all the time. But yeah, I think, Dave, we'll start with the back end of what happened in episode 4 was the Shaq and Harris, little set two. They got together and it was very strange because I was Team Shaq. I'll go my hands up. I was Team Shaq on all this because I think Harris, the way he approaches things, he's very hostile at times to people, very defensive. He came over and he went, I'll make this brief. And I'm like, oh, fucking hell, you don't start kicking off. And there was nobody around him. So whether the producers had warned him, at this point, because the lads had to separate. So I don't know what the time scale was because Shaq was sat in his own. It was almost like this voice from above had said, right, sit down and sort it out because Shaq's waiting. Gives him the side eye as he comes. And then I thought what Shaq said was right. But then, Harris is like, I don't need a dad. I've got one of them. And I thought, well, nothing's been solved there. So I was Team Shaq. But then afterwards, I wasn't with some of these comments. So what did you think of all that, Dave? Because it seemed a bit bizarre, to be honest.
I'll be honest, going into it, I was Team Shaq. And then I started to wobble a bit because he seemed to be just talking shit. He was just spurting out this verbal diarrhea. And then he's going on about, I don't know whether it's you and your age or whatever. And I'm like, he's not giving any specifics. He's saying all the time. It's like you've known the guy for like 3 or 4 days. It's not you always do this. You've just literally met him. You're on holiday and you've just met. So there's no always doing anything. And so I thought it was a cheap shot, if I'm honest. Now, I don't like the way Harris deals with it either, because I think he's always on edge. He's always looking to kick off, isn't he? He's sort of like, again, wind your neck in sunshine. He's always looking for that fight and, to exert his male dominance. But I just felt like, Shaq lost it a bit for me. And then at the end, or not even at the end, but after that, when they didn't seem to resolve it at all, they seemed to try and have a chat about it and then both end up just walking off in a huff, but not in a dramatic, interesting way. It sort of just fizzled out to nothing, didn't it? But I agree, when Shaq starts going on about, oh yeah, she's sort of kissing other people in the challenge and seem to be disrespecting me. It's like, look, mate, you're on Love Island and it's week 1. Right? Those two things together just completely deflate any fucking argument that you had in the first place. It's like, have you watched this fucking show before? It seems like nonsense for me. Just an overly possessive, like say, you're on fucking Love Island. Look, if it's in real life, you might have a case. Or no, you probably do have a case, right? But I just felt like it was just an utter nonsense given the environment that he's in. So, yeah, I'm afraid Shaq lost points for me there.
I'm the same. That's exactly how I felt about it. I was for the conversation. And I think Brianna said on Discord, one of our patrons, she was more Team Harris and she felt like he dealt with it in a really good way and didn't make it worse or anything. And I get that angle, but I think I was more on Shaq's side, exactly like you. As soon as he said that, I'm like, Shaq, have you never seen the show? Whoever you're with, up to the day you leave, they're literally snogging each other all over the place. That is Love Island. The games are sort of sexualized, aren't they? They're all about snogging. The games where the one where they pie him in the face. You know what I mean? These games like that, ain't they? Like, who would you marry? Snog, marry, pie. And all that. Who's the shitster? Who's this? It happens. It's Love Island. So I didn't get what he was going at unless I missed something. I just didn't. I was the same as you. By the end of it, it was like, oh, that's a bit of a waste of fucking time, really. I wasn't rooting for anybody. So yeah, it was weird. I did like when Harris was saying, no, I don't need a dad, I've got one. And then like Shaq's like, well, you don't understand, you're immature and all this. I'm thinking there's probably about 2 years between you both. But like Shaq was talking to him like, say, me and you would speak to him, like we're in our 40s. It's like me and you saying to him, like, come on now. There's a bit of experience there, but there was only a couple of years. So anyway, it did fizzle out to nothing.
You know what? I kind of have this. I just, like I say, I'll be transparent about it. I just don't like this Harris. I think I've known too many people like him in the past, and he's just that template. But when he says, like, yeah, but the thing is, when you call me a shit stirrer, that's like the worst thing you could call me. It's like, fuck off. It's like, again, does he think he's in the mafia or something? It's like, oh no, you can't go calling people a snitch. That's the worst thing you can call me. Okay, you call me a shit stirrer. I cannot literally think of anything worse that you could call me. It's like, fuck off, get over yourself, you bellend.
You know what, though? You're right, aren't you? You could have called him anything. I see you next Tuesday, you could have called him. You could have called him anything. But yeah. I'm with you because
if it was me, I'd be like, well, can I have a go?
Yeah.
How about this? That is worse.
He seems, Harris, like any 21-year-old that I know, like, really, he thinks he knows everything and he doesn't. And we all thought that at 21 years old, I can look back now and you'd have older people trying to help you and advise you and say stuff to you. And you'd be like, no, you'll understand when you get to a point. And even through your 20s and you think, fucking bollocks. And then a light bulb goes on at one point and you go, you know what? They were actually right. They were trying to help and that. And you're very stubborn. You think you're an adult, but you're still a kid at some respects at 21 years old. That's not being derogatory for him. Like, I know everything, you know everything. It's not. But and we still make mistakes. Dave, I'm sure you'll say, I can still act like a fucking child all the time and stuff. We still have that in us. It's just that I think as you get older, you most people take a step back and try and pick your fights if you're going to have them, and if someone's telling you you're wrong, unless you were thinking, well, I don't understand that, but sometimes there's a reason, like you've got to, it just comes with age. But anyway, silly.
Yeah, I just think it's, and I agree with all of that. But again, I'll put the camera back on, or the spotlight back on Shaq for a minute. I just felt like he was having a go at the maturity and the age thing just because he had nothing better with any weight. So, like, he was saying that Harris was going on about the kiss and whatever in the challenge. Now, I'd said yesterday, confidently saying that, the challenge is completely different to doing it outside of a challenge. So you can't really have a problem. When you're in this environment, and this isn't the first crop to have a go at fucking beer pong, is it?
No.
I mean, they've got... Where did they get the equipment, Chris, for beer pong? It's all fucking set up by the producers, isn't it? So so it isn't like a daytime challenge where they go off and answer questions, but it is all set up. So the fact that he's saying, oh, you were talking about, Tanya having a kiss and whatever, it's completely disrespecting me. I'd have had more respect if Harris had just said, look, mate, I wasn't fucking thinking about you at all, to be honest. Get over yourself. All right, I appreciate you were probably a bit pissed off about that, but you're just taking it out on me, to be honest. I wasn't thinking about you.
Yeah, that's you know what? That's a good point, actually. Very good point. I'm not saying it's a Casamorian point, Dave, but it's a good point, my friend. But I think go on.
Sorry, go on.
No, I wasn't. I was going to move off that, but yeah, go on. If you've got anything else left on that, go for it.
No, I was going to say, also speaking of people who need to fucking get over themselves, Chris, Olivia.
So I was about to say, David, very well fucking segued into it. So he was still, she was still going on about Zara calling her two-faced, Dave. That absolutely, I mean, we talk about Harris and the shit stirring. Obviously, Olivia's fucking trigger is two-faced. So she was fucking fuming, Dave. And she was still fucking waffling on, wants you to Tom and everyone else about it. And it's like, it's a game. That's the way it is. It's just Love Island. And I don't get it, Dave. I get it because I do feel that we're just simmering nicely now. There's going to be a monumental kickoff at some point. But a lot of these contestants, I honestly don't think they've watched Love Island properly. They might have like watch bits of it or anything. They know the exposure it gives them. But Livia's like, you're not getting this. It's a bit of fun. You know, Zara was just like, she went off a gut what she initially thought. There's not really any context. She'd only been in the villa a couple of hours, so she went with it. She probably did it to piss you off because, you know, she was after Tom, which, Dave, we see later on. And I think it worked. That's it. It's game playing, but it's Love Island. What does she want?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the game is here because the fact that we know that they're commenting on each other's Instagram posts, so they kind of know each other already. So is it all a game? Is this all predetermined that they'll have a bit of drama? Because it's about nothing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about absolutely nothing. It's like, you know, Harris getting his back up because he's called him a shit stirrer. Oh no. Well, Olivia's button is being called two-faced. Oh no. Fucking hell. You know, just get over yourself. And so it's just an utter nonsense. And then, you know, and Zara pulls her for a chat and stuff, and they kind of put it to bed. And then she's in the diary room and she's like, yeah, I'm glad I squashed that. It's like, no, you didn't. You did fuck all to help smooth that over. Zara's the one who's putting in all the legwork and being unreservedly apologetic about it all. And you were just sitting there with a fucking face like a slapped arse and just going, oh, yeah, well, okay then. So she didn't proactively do anything to put that to bed. So,
no.
Chris, I think she's going to be a great Islander because we want fucking egomaniacs like that on the show. But she is fucking hard work. You can tell already.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So, Dave, the next thing that happened was that Ron sort of pied off Zara. And, you know, it's quite funny because it's not always nice the way they do it on this show. But like Zara sort of went, yeah, I can see you and Lana are made for each other. And I'm like, well, you were trying it on with. You're asking Ron, is there anything there? To be fair to Ron, respectfully. And I did like the way this happened, Dave. So Lana and Ron, you know, get together. He explains to her. They kiss, Dave. A little bit of a smooch there. Laying a few breadcrumbs for the recoupling, Dave, that we find out there's going to be a guy kicked out by the end of the episode. I did think with it being a Friday, are they going to fucking have us over till Sunday? And we're going to have to sit there and wait. Yeah, I did. I'm like, you know, it's the one thing I don't know if everyone's the same, but when I'm watching Love Island, I'm sort of like looking at the clock and going, hang on. So they've announced it at 9:20 in the UK. So we got adverts. And then about 10 to fucking 10, they start it. And I'm like, oh, here we go. It's 15 minutes. We're going to get blagged here. Absolutely going to get blagged. But no. So anyway, they kiss, they smooch together. They're happy. Lana's happy. She speaks to the VT. And I'm thinking, I don't think this is going to end very well. But we get that little bit of a placeholder, Dave. So what did you think of the whole thing with Zara then, Dave?
I've switched around. So from day one, I thought Ron came across really well. And then there's just these tiny little data points that all build up to him being an absolute game player. I thought it was fair enough. So to have that conversation with Zara and basically say, look, I'm going to put all my energy into Lana. So, you know, don't want to waste anyone's time or anything. At that point, I'm thinking, all right, fair play to you, mate. You know, there's being quite open and honest and you know, not wasting anyone's time. But then he made a weird comment that he didn't really follow up and Zara didn't really quiz him on it. He said that, you know, it was after seeing you with Tom. And I thought, well, that's a bit weird, isn't it? You know, so basically, are you interested in Zara or not? On this thing called Love Island, where you're supposed to be exploring all these different relationships and whatever. But no, it seemed like he wasn't disinterested with Zara anymore because of anything Zara had done, or between Tom and Zara, or the fact that he felt, you know, the connection with Lana was too strong or anything like that. It's because he'd seen Zara with Tom. And so I'm like, well, either you're being, you know, weirdly jealous again in this thing called Love Island, or it is just a little clue that you are a massive game player because you can't risk it. You can't risk leaving the door open that you're going to end up picking Zara, but actually she's going to end up going with Tom, and you could end up being ejected out the villa. I just thought it was a weird comment, and so I still, for me, Ron's in shit corner still.
You know what? I didn't see it like that, Dave. So he said, but you weren't the only one to say that. A few people on Discord and Facebook have said the same thing, haven't they?
Yeah.
They're like, is he? I think he's playing a game. I just took it for what it was at the time. I did think, look, I'm not daft enough to think that he's not doing it to make sure he stays in the villa. Yes, he is. But we'll see with that, Dave, because you could be right. And you'll know straight away after the recoupling, because if they're faking it to stay in the villa, and they start to cool off on the partner and start pursuing someone else, then yeah, you're completely right. So that'd be interesting, that, because that's happened loads of times, hasn't it? They play up, whether it's the man or the woman, they play up to the partner. Yeah, pick me, because you know it's a male or a female recoupling, and then they cool off, don't they? Fingy did it, didn't she, the other year? With Hugo. That girl with Hugo did it, and she was all over him until like he picked her, and then she thought, well, I'm here for another 3 days. Then she binned him off pretty much straight away. So
no. He binned her off, which was one of the weirdest things I've seen on TV.
Yeah, he's binned everyone off, didn't he? Hugo, to be fair, probably a bad example, but you get what I'm saying, don't you? It does happen, that, for the sake of the show, just to stay inclusive.
I do think that, no, he's going to stick with Lana. He's going to stick with the only blonde in the village, and then at least a Casa Amor. Now, we'll speak about the recoupling, I'm sure. There's a bit of a wrinkle in that, but I still think that's his game plan. I think he's going full on Jake here.
Oh, fucking hell, Dave. If he goes full on Jake, he's not going to be liked by anyone, is he, by the end of it? Jake, everyone hated Jake. But what about Thingy? So Ron and Lana had this little smooch, sort of ironed everything out. Then Will comes over, Mr. fucking Triad, and he then fucking says to Lana, well, is there any chance? And I'm like, well, have you not just seen that she smooched Ron? I don't think you've got a chance, Will, because at this point, with the recoupling, I honestly thought that Will was the one who was going to be booted out the villa. I really did. And I got,
Yeah. I mean, he's fucking lucky, isn't he? Because I said it yesterday. I think there's just little things that he does. He is a Johnny Triad, and I just think he's starting to become quite funny at just how shit he is.
Yeah.
And I felt the same thing. I felt like, well, it's just a waste of time. But I think that's going to keep him in the villa, because he's kind of that, harmless guy who's a bit of fun around the villa. I just think he might end up sticking around for way longer than he should do, really. And I predicted episode 1 or 2 that he'd be gone at the end of either week 1 or 2. And I still think he should be gone by the end of week 2. But the wrinkle in the whatever in me, is
I've got a lot of wrinkles, Dave, these days.
is that people like Lana will end up picking him in a friendship couple just because, like I say, he's kind of harmless. He's a bit of fun. He's like a safe bet, isn't he?
Yeah.
To keep around, but he's got no chance. He's got no connection, no real romantic connection with anyone in the villa yet.
No, and talk about that. When I was on the radio with Babs, Dave, she actually said, and I'd never seen this, she was talking about David and his connection with Tanya and the Shaq, the little trilogy, the triangle. And she said, I think David's quite intense, and I'd never seen it. And then tonight, when I watched it, and the way he spoke to Tanya, he was quite intense, wasn't he? And I think ultimately, I want to talk about David anyway at the end, but I didn't see it until that point. And then I saw it, and he was sort of giving Tanya an ultimatum. He was sort of like, this is the way it is, blah, blah, blah. And he was very direct with her, which is not a bad thing because you've got a small window. And with the impending recoupling, he's looking over his shoulder. I think this is wrong that David's gone anyway. I might as well say it now because get a chance. Why does Zara get to stay and David doesn't? He at least should have had a recoupling. And it's bollocks, all that. Producing manipulation again.
It is, because they can absolutely play fast and loose with the rules when they want to. Because quite often when a bombshell comes in, they are not resistant. What is it when you they can't be voted out, can they?
Yes, yeah, they're immune, aren't they?
Or they
Yeah.
immune, yeah. Like, they'll quite often get the pick themselves. So I thought it was weird because it's ultimately, Chris, it's not fair, is it? They've just literally landed. They're trying to rapidly make a connection with someone, but you are on the back foot there. So I thought they should have got the pick first before the girls got to pick. So Zara and David should have picked first, and then, the girls should have picked what was left. And I just thought it was bullshit, to be honest, and not fair. The thing I thought, have you seen Daddy's Home? Oh, I think it's called Daddy's Home with like Will Ferrell and
both of them.
Wahlberg.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So the second one, right? You get Mel Gibson turning up, and it's one of these comedy timing things and about where the position of the camera is, because you've got Mark Wahlberg and Mel Gibson, like his on-screen dads, talking, and the camera's on them, and basically Mel Gibson is just slating Will Ferrell and just like going on about his weak chin and like taking the piss out of him, and his head moves over to the right and he just says, "No offense." And then the camera moves to the left and Will Ferrell sat right there while he's been slated. It felt like that when like Shaq was pouring his heart out, chewing everyone's ears off, all the boys and that, about how he felt disrespected and Tanya did this and did that in the challenge. And David is sat right on the end of the sofa having to listen to all this. And, fair play to him. He sort of took himself off because he's like, I don't think I need to hear all this. And I think fair play for that. I don't know if I read that as intense. I just think like he was sat there almost being talked about. He is in this kind of triangle with Shaq and Tanya. So I just thought it was poor form on Shaq's part, to be honest. I don't think I think he should have had a little bit more tact than that.
Yeah, I do. And then on the flip side, I think David put all his eggs in one basket with Tanya, didn't he? He should have mingled a bit. He might have mingled with some of the other girls, but we didn't see it. But it just looked like he was intent on getting with Tanya. And ultimately, like you say, it cost him. It's fucking bollocks again, because like you say, it's all nonsense. We get to see that there's two more bombshells coming in. I know we'll talk about the couples, but I'm with you. The fucking rules they just make us go along. It was basically, we need to get someone out straight away because we've got two new bombshells coming in again for like the second or third night.
Yeah.
It's fucking bollocks. He should have been immune, like Zara should have been, and that's how they've always done it. And again, let's just fucking make stuff up as we go along. Does it work? I don't think it works. And I think David was quite rightly pissed off, and he looked annoyed, and I was there going, no, I think you're right, mate. You're right. He should have been given a chance to do it. But anyway, let's talk about the couples, Dave. So there was a little bit of juiciness there, which I think we're going to maybe see pay off on Sunday's episode. So we start off with Anna May. She had a bit of a chat. Kai said something about kissing her, but it was a very brief conversation. We've not seen a lot of Kai really and Anna May, but they got together and he was with Tanyel. What I think was Anna May with Harris originally. So I think, that could be a bit...
and they had that conversation, didn't they, where, again, very weird. She was just saying that there's nothing there, and Harris seemed to say almost nothing, and then he goes off and says, yeah, I finished it. There's nothing there.
No, there wasn't at all. And then you've got Zara picked Tom. Now, Tom had grafted a little bit with Olivia. Olivia was not interested. You could see that. She said to him, and she said to Harris, that he was more her type, Olivia. And I get that. And Tom had basically laid it on the line and said, look, are you interested? And she just gave a very vague answer. So Zara picked Tom, and I thought, fair enough. We'd not really seen them together properly. They'd had a discussion. That could be a bit of a sleeper couple, Dave, because I think Tom, he obviously wants to stay in there, but both seem like quite nice people. And then ultimately off the back of that, Olivia gets with Harris, Dave, which I think is one of them. They're going to go for the power couple. I can see, Dave, who were the ones who were fucking annoying in the UK one, who were together and they thought they were like fucking, I don't know, Posh and Becks or something. Oh, it was fucking Luca and Gemma, wasn't it? Once they got together, it was two people. I couldn't stand Gemma at the start. Then we went a warm to her, and Luca I just didn't like from the get go. I think at the moment I'm with you. Harris is very much like Luca. That very, as in the way I feel about him. I'm not saying he's got the same personality as Luca because I hated Luca in points in that series, but I think they could be the type who think they're a bit of a power couple and, you know, like giving everyone advice and all this crap. I can see that coming, to be honest.
Yeah. And I think they just, I don't know if they're playing us as the audience or they genuinely believe it, but this thing like, oh, he's a boxer and I'm like a ring girl. Oh, it's a match made in heaven, isn't it? I'm not sure. Are they thinking of the audience and thinking, oh, well, that goes together like cheese and onion, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I just don't know, Chris. But I mean, to be fair, that didn't just spring out of nowhere. So, you know, from the earlier episodes, we'd seen some kind of dialogue back and forth with them too. So, you know, I think it's right that they should try and give it a go.
Yeah, I do. And I think, are they playing on the Tommy Fury, Molly May one? Because I know when Tommy Fury's in there, I thought he was more compatible with Lucy. And look, now they've got a baby on the way. They've massive career. Molly May was the biggest influencer on that series when she came in. I'd never heard of her, but obviously for a certain age, why would a Dave, a 40-year-old man following fucking Molly May putting makeup on and stuff, you know what I mean? So why wouldn't that just be a bit fucking weird? But Tommy Fury had the backup. Yes, he's a boxer. Is that what they're trying to say? But he had his brother. He plays off his brother. Tommy Fury's finally supposed to be fighting Jake Paul at the end of Feb, I believe, in a boxing match. He's been Willie Waltney for a long time, but they've had this massive career off the back of Love Island, but mainly because they came into it with names behind. Molly May was a massive influencer. She's still a massive influencer. She's got loads of deals. He's, you know, riding the coattails of his brother. Why wouldn't he? Maybe they're going to try. These two could potentially be the fucking Wish version of Molly May and fucking Tommy Fury. It's got to be said, but there you go. Anyway, what a bastard! But so the next couple, Dave, was pretty solid. Tanya and Shaq. You know, I'm sort of glad they're together. They look really sweet. The whole David things, obviously, was put a full stop on it when Tanya picked Shaq, and I think, unfortunately, that was a nail in the coffin for David. But then, one of the bits that we did get, Dave, producers again. I've got to give the producers a bit of credit for this. Tanyel gets to pick her pick, Dave. Now, we've seen Ron and Lana kiss and sort of say they're going to make a go for it. Tanyel picks Ron, Dave, and I'm thinking, Sunday night, this is going to kick off because Lana starts crying, doesn't she? You know, and then Lana's got to give a really shit speech. Who does she pick? Will or David? We all know we're going to pick Friend Island. She's going to pick Will because he's an OG. He's probably very popular with the guys. It's bullshit again, Dave. You know what I mean? And Will gets to fucking, you know, stay another day and fucking rescue sheep from a fucking field again and all that crap. So I love that it's laid down them markers, Dave, because we're going to get a bit of backlash between Tanyel and Lana without a doubt.
100%. And I don't know if I've just not seen it or picked up on it, but I've seen almost nothing between Tanyel and Ron at all.
Yeah.
Now, they were previously couple. Tanyel was previously coupled with Kai, wasn't she? And she gave that weird speech about, you know, how jealous she was. You know, so maybe Anna May picking Kai, you know, as that first pick, maybe that's ruffled things up a bit. Maybe she would have carried on with Kai, maybe. But yeah, I was surprised. And again, from starting the episode off with quite high expectations about the drama and then, you know, falling back into my slumber when I realised it's all fizzled out into nothing and a big disappointment. When she said Ron, I was like, oh, I'm interested again now because, I mean, over the years, we've seen plenty of these picks, haven't we, where, you know, there's an obvious couple, you know, so Ron and Lana, been together since day one. They've had a little bit of a threat with Zara coming in and showing Ron some attention, but ultimately you kind of see them as a bit of a couple at the end of week one. So for Tanyel to disrupt that, I thought was brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, me too. That's what I'm saying. We're just simmering nicely, and obviously poor David ends up going, Dave, and I think he was right. Some of the comments he said about going, he didn't get a chance. It's utter fucking bollocks, and I'll hold the producers accountable because I'm pretty sure they will manipulate it. Maybe they didn't see in David the contestant that they want. I don't know, but they will manipulate this later on. And me and you will come back to this, and we will be slagging them off because they'll completely bend the rules again to keep someone popular in the show. Absolute nonsense.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. The only thing I'd say is, again, David, when things were getting a little bit tense in that triangle, David was saying to Tanya, like, I feel like you're saying different things to me than what you're saying to Shaq, and it's not all adding up. And again, I have to say, I said it for Shaq, said it for Olivia, but I'm going to say it for David as well. Have you actually watched this fucking show before?
Yeah.
Yes, of course they're saying slightly different things. Of course they never, or very rarely, slamming the door shut. They're exploring relationships. That doesn't mean like exploring one relationship means I'm going to put my nun's habit on and like devote myself to you. So yeah, I just thought that was a bit naive from David's gameplay in there.
I do. And then Dave, we got a bit of I can't even say I'm excited about this, but we get, and I didn't even know this. So I'm not trying to name drop again, but when I was on the radio again, Babs has said to me, what about the two Aussies? No, she did. I didn't even know anything about this.
Sorry, was that, were you on the radio?
BBC Radio, Three Counties Day, right? Stop it. What this? No, this is
my word, I had no idea.
Stop it. It was genuine, this is genuine. The only reason I'm saying it is because she said to me, what about the two Aussies who are coming on? And I was like, I don't know anything about it. And I'm like, maybe I should know about this. She went, these talk of two Aussie contestants. And I was like, you are joking. You cannot. They're not going to do this, what they do with Al, when Al come from maths in the last Aussie one and came
Imagine
over.
if it was Al.
I know, Al again. Fuck off. But we get Aaron and Jesse, who we remember Jesse because we had Owen, who said he looked like Jason Momoa and looked more like fucking Liam Neeson, the Irish lad. And Jessie got with him, stunning. She was blonde when she was on I think it's the second series of the Aussie one.
Yeah.
I think it was your first series watching. She was blonde. They ended up going in the hideaway, and she's only small. She's a little pocket rocket. She's about 5 foot. She comes in, high heels on, full negligee, really looking sexy in that. Gets on top of fucking Owen, and we're thinking, aye. Oh, he starts talking. Go on, Dave, do the impression who he talks about when he's got this absolutely stunning woman on top of him.
Oh, wish Matt was here now.
Now, Dave, if you're the sort of person who doesn't, it's basically a one-band funky mum and you've got maybe fucking a good 20 seconds in you, maybe you think of your mate to try and last a bit longer. But no, when she's trying to seduce you, Dave, you don't do any of that shit. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I've ever thought you in that situation, Dave, but I'm just saying that.
It was a strange comment.
It was brilliant.
Chris, if I think of Australia's season 2, that is the moment.
That is it.
There's that. And then Matt also features in my second one, which is, he was coupled up with the dark-haired girl, like the kind of rocker look. I can't quite remember what her name is, but he was coupled up with her and she got voted out and he's in tears. He's absolutely floods of tears. And she's like, well, just come out with me. If you're that gutted, come out with me. It's like, I'm so gutted you're going.
Well, that's what he did, didn't he, Jordan, on the last series in the Aussie one. The girl he's with gets voted off, Phoebe, I think it was. And she's like, well, why aren't you coming with me? Oh, well, I'm going to stay with me mates. He got voted off the next fucking night, ruined that relationship.
But he was never really that into her.
No, he wasn't.
Whereas
we know that,
this Matt was, so-called head over heels, and she just called him out on it, and I just thought it was brilliant. But yeah, Owen, bloody hell. Jessie, she looked absolutely stunning in the hideaway, didn't it?
And he just
highlighted that season.
It was, and I think it was Hannah said on Discord, and she's right. What's the point of these coming in? Because they're not going to move to the fucking UK or the other person moved to Australia. They're just there purely for the exposure, aren't they? It's an absolute magazine deal. Rent an apartment for 3 months in London. See you later. That's all there for. Absolute bollocks.
Oh, sorry. Are we pretending that these are for real relationships again?
yeah. I'm trying to go with it, Dave, that they're actually going to fucking get somewhere. I will be amazed if these fuckers last more than a week. Unbelievable.
I don't know. You just have to go from bar to bar. There's plenty of Aussies in London, to be fair. So, let's face it. I mean, how many? The odds aren't with couples staying together, are they? There's the odd couple from a season, but I mean, that's it. So it's a little gimmick, isn't it? And it's a bit of exposure both ways, really, for the Australian Love Island and, for the UK Love Island. So, let's see where it goes.
Yeah, that's the one. Anyway, Dave, big thank you, mate. And our first week is in the bag. Yay! We're not halfway though, Dave. So unfortunately, you've got to put me a bit longer. And we didn't announce it actually, but we have no intention of doing a daily podcast, Dave. We've not even talked about that once. We've just got in the rhythm of doing a daily one, haven't we? So whether we stick with this, I just don't know.
The opportunity, so we have got the opportunity at the minute. We'll do it, but I don't think. I mean, it's fucking 2 months, isn't it? So we'll do it when we can. But once we get 3 or 4 weeks in, I don't think we'll be able to do daily.
No. I don't think you want to speak to me every day, Dave, when we get 3 or 4 weeks in. It's usually the point where you hate me and you're just like, oh.
Look, maths is starting next week.
I know. Oh, I cannot wait for that, though, Dave. I cannot wait for that. Fucking bring that on, my friend. So anyway, big thank you to everyone. If you want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. Please get over to Facebook. We are on 389 friends over there. So thank you so much for everyone who's has recently joined. We really, really appreciate you. But if you've got 11 more friends to get us to 400, and then hopefully we can get up to 500, Dave, maybe by the end of this series, I'm not sure, but please come and join us. Chris and Dave's reality TV cast, guys. And you just need approval. We'll approve you in and then come and join the fun with everyone. It's such good fun. Loads of insider stuff. Episodes posted for people around the world as well, guys, with great links to places like Daily Motion. Charlene is always posting stuff up, so please get over there. It's so good. If you want to follow us on social media, @CD RealityCast. And if you do want to support us, get over to patreon.com/CD RealityCast. So today's roll call of honour is Ken, Lucky Lily Green, Lauren, Tracy, Hennessy, Susan, Priscilla, Dee Dee, Katie, Libby, Joanna, Brianna, Helen, Keith, Michelle, Gillian, Zoe, Kristen, Maggie, Annabeth, Kate, Megan, and Cassie. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support. And Dave, we chalk it off. We're still friends by the end of this week. I cannot thank you enough.
1 week down, 7 or so more to go. Yeah. So thank you very much, sir. Thanks to everyone out there for listening to us, for supporting us. Hope you're enjoying it as much as we are, and we'll speak to you next week.
Bye.